Hi there, Dean with TerraXplore here, and this video is going to be talking about the regulation side of the T100 Agris. It's going to be a bit of a longer video, but it's going to be pretty in-depth, so let's get started. So what are we actually talking about? The FAA administration is in charge of all air travel and transportation in the United States. They want to make air travel and airspace as safe and as well managed as they can. So the FAA already has specific regulations for drones that are under 55 pounds and make it pretty easy for the average person to get started and start flying them. But because agricultural drones are so much heavier, the T100's max takeoff weight is 370 pounds, for example. They're subject to the same regulations as commercial airplanes or crop dusters or helicopters. So before you can operate your agricultural drone commercially, you'll have to work with the FAA to prove to them that you are operating the drone safely, you're qualified, and that you got to ask for relief from certain regulations that simply don't apply to drones. More on that later. So the first two steps to regulation can be done before you even purchase your drone. The first one is the Part 107 certificate. This is like your driver's license, but for drones, and it lets you fly any drone under 55 pounds. And then the third class medical is just a medical examination that you take that says you're healthy enough to fly these drones. So if you have any condition that'll make you pass out or any mental condition that makes you pass out, you may not, you may be disqualified. Additionally, you also have to take a drug test. If you're concerned about not passing your third class medical exam, you can try scheduling it before purchasing your drone and seeing if you pass, or you can also ask for an exemption for it in your 44807. More on that later. So you will need both of these on your person every single time you fly, both the Part 107 certificate and the third class medical. More on the Part 107 certificate, you need to get a 70% or higher on an FAA exam administered by a professional testing facility. There are study guides and apps you can use to learn the exam concepts, plenty on YouTube. There's apps you can get on your phone or on your computer. It's recommended that you study at least 2 weeks before taking the exam. Me personally, I started like about a month and I was able to pass on my first try. To register for a drone, to register for your exam, you need to make an airman profile with the IACRA website. I'll show you what that looks like now. So this is the Integrated Airman Certification and Rating Application. You make your own account or you register, and that will give you an FTN, and then you use that FTN to register for an FAA exam at the testing facility. Once you take that exam and once you pass with a score of higher than 70%, you can then go back to the IACRA and get your temporary certificate, your temporary Part 107 certificate, by putting in your exam results. And then after some time, you will get a plastic one that's not temporary in the mail. So, third class medical, this step can be completed by making a MedExpress account and using the FAA search tools to find an authorized medical examiner in your area, also known as an AME. Look for AMEs that can give you a second class or first class medical exam because they're also qualified to give you a third class medical exam. Uh, Probably want to talk to your primary care provider or like your regular doctor to get a copy of your medical records to give to your AME. Call them and make an appointment, and then you can use your MedExpress confirmation number along with a photo ID to verify your identity. Once you pass the exam, you'll be given your third class medical on site, which means you can keep it somewhere safe and have it on you whenever you fly. It's valid for 2 years. I'll show you what that FAA search tool looks like now. So designee types, you want to set AME, Authorized Medical Examiner. You can do it by location, and you can just say like the state you're in. I'm in Iowa right now. And then you want to do first, second class, and then you just search. All right, here we are. So you can see what county they're in, what city they're in, their zip code, their phone number, and what type of class medical exam they can give. All right, so drone registration and acquiring a number. This process will look different depending on your circumstances, so we'll go over each scenario. But basically, when you buy a brand new drone off the shelf, it technically doesn't really exist until you register it. So you have to register it with the government. And this process can be done online or through the mail. You may pay $5 for each drone you register, and you can have multiple drones registering at the same time, so long as each fee has been paid. Agricultural drones are too heavy to be registered through the FAA's drone zone. That's for drones that are under 55 pounds. But if you do have a drone that's under 55 pounds, you can get it registered very quickly at drone zone. All right, I'll show you what an 850-1 form is. You'll be filling one of these out if you need to mail. Okay, here we go. So this is the first page, this is just the instructions. And then for the N number, you want to put next available, unless you have a preference or like one that you've already reserved. Just put next available and you'll get a random one. Manufacturer DJI, model Agras T100, and then here you put your aircraft serial number. I would go with the remote ID. You can find it on a plate on the side of the T100. Whether you're doing it as an individual, corporation, I'll do LLC for now. You put your business name here as the name of the applicants. Phone number here, email here, and then your mailing address and physical address. I've noticed that for most people this is like the same, but if you have a P.O. box, you need to say like the P.O. box is your mailing address, and then your physical address where you actually work will go on field 10. And then you say you're a U.S. citizen or a resident alien, whatever your scenario is, you just say that. And then for name of applicant, you put business name, and of the signer, just put your name and then your title. So if you are in an LLC, sometimes LLCs are managed by members, sometimes it's officers, sometimes it's managers. So just put your title there. If you work for a corporation, whatever your title is, do that. The date and then your signature. This bottom half here, this last page is if you are co-signing it with someone, meaning that like if you are going 50-50 on this drone with someone, you would put their name here and say how much of they own. All right, we saw the 850-1. Now we can move on to the drone affidavit. So this is a form you'll use to actually prove that you own the drone. Uh, you'll need this especially if you're going to apply online because they need you to have a digitally signed and digitally notarized affidavit. Going through this, you'll see some familiar stuff like N number. Leave that blank. The T100 qualifies as a rotorcraft. Manufacturer is DJI, model is Agras T100. For serial number, I would go with remote ID. Then for number of engines, you say 8. Number of seats, 0. Max takeoff weight is 370. For undersigned owner certifies, option 1 will be the most likely option because you're saying it's a new off-the-shelf drone that you bought from a certain vendor. And then here at the bottom, you'll see owner's name, owner's signature, printed name of the signature, and signer's title. So again, if you're part of an LLC, that'll be member, officer, manager. If you're in a corporation, it's like department head, department member. And then at the bottom here, leave this blank for the notary. So you need to get this digitally notarized if you're doing it online or physically notarized if you want to mail it in. This can be done for anywhere from between $20 to $30. I know FedEx has a really good one that's pretty quickly can be done pretty quickly for 25 bucks. So there we go. And then next up is the 850-2. So what this looks like is this is like in the case that you are buying the drone from someone else and it already has an N number and you just need to have the drone ownership transferred to you with the same N number. So now you'll actually put the N number down, same thing, DJI T100 serial number, and then this might be confusing. You say first day of January 2027, and then your name. So if you're the purchaser, put your name, address, and then the seller here, you do the seller name and like department head, and then on what date they sold it to you. So there are some extra steps for an LLC. LLCs have some very specific requirements that other legal entities and individuals don't face. You'll need to provide the FAA with additional information, like each and every member of your LLC, and what percentage they own, how do they manage themselves, and you'll need to confirm the citizenship of each member of the LLC because the FAA wants LLCs to be two-thirds like American citizens in order for them to register for drones. So when you're registering online versus mail, when applying for an N number online, you may need to make sure that absolutely everything is done digitally. You need to have a digital bill of sale to upload and digitally signed, notarize an affidavit. A physically signed document that you scanned on a copy machine and put into your computer won't be accepted. Online registration and applications are processed through the FAA CARES website, and the $5 fee can be paid by card. If you mail in your registration, you need to send it to the FAA registration branch over in Oklahoma City. Make sure you send your applications with a $5 check and all the paperwork all in one envelope. If you're doing multiple drones, let's say you're registering 3 drones, you need to send a check for $15 to pay the fee. If you're using the US Postal Service, use the first address. If you're using some other service, use the bottom address. All right, so the next step is going to be the 44807 exemption petition. The first thing I want to say here is don't send a 44807 exemption petition until you've completed all the prerequisite steps. Submitting one without your remote pilot's license or your N number will result in the FAA requesting more information, and that's going to make the process take much longer. Unlike the other steps, there's no guidance on how to create one of these exemption petitions. Your only reference will be other 44807s that got approved. So you want to visit regulations.gov. I'll show you what that looks like. Here it is. And then you can just search 137 and you'll find other petitions. Exemption, petition for exemption, petition for exemption. These are other people trying to get Part 137 certifications. They're all public, so you can look at them and kind of understand the formatting of them. So the 44807 needs to have all the rules you need to be exempt from, and the precautions you're going to take before you fly your drone, right? Your pre-flight steps. You also need to say why granting this exemption is in the interest of the public good, and you need to be clear that you intend to operate the drone for agricultural purposes. And make sure you include your business information, drone specifications, drone registration information, contact information, and attach your drone's maintenance and instruction manuals to the filing. You can also attach your pre-flight checklist to be like, this is what I do every time before I fly. All right, now once you submit your your 44807 exemption and it gets approved, you will get instructions on how to get your Part 137. The Part 137 is like the Part 107, but now you can fly big, heavy drones and spray commercial poisons out of them. Once you get it, like I said, you'll get the instructions, and then after you fill out the form, it'll take about 1 to 2 weeks. I'll show you what the form looks like. All right. So for this first step, you want to say it's commercial. Next, you say you're dispensing economic poisons. And then you want to say this is your original one. If you have a 137 beforehand that expired, then you're going to say it's an amendment or a reissuance, depending on if you changed anything or not. So name and address of applicant is going to be your business name and your business address. Same thing with principal operations base. Telephone number should be the same. Operating as, if you're an individual, corporation, partnership, X those boxes. But if you're an other, you can specify as LLC or co-owner. Chief Supervisor Operations is going to be the pilot in command. You just put their name and then you say what certificate they're holding for Field 6, and that's going to be the remote pilot's certificate. And then you put their certificate number. Grade is going to be commercial. Going to skip these questions because it's a drone. And then once you get to can you effectively hold, should get a waiver, conducting? So if you've done it before, you say yes. If you haven't done it before, you say no. And then for the actual drone, same thing as before. Make, DJI, model, Agris T100. And then you're equipped for spraying liquid and solid. Number of aircraft, just that number, and then registration mark. That's the N number. Here, list of names and airmen. So it's going to be the people who can actually fly the drone and then their airman certificates. So everyone in your company that can fly the drone, you list them here. Then you put your exemption number. When your exemption got approved, it was given an exemption number, and in the remarks, you just put that there so they can reference your approved exemption. Then you do the date, then you do your title, member, manager, officer of your LLC, department head, and then you sign. You leave this bottom space blank for the FAA. Once you complete that and submit it, you are finished. After you get your 137 certificate, you are good to go. You can fly your drone, you can spray out of it, you can operate commercially. Uh, Congratulations.